Uh-oh, did somebody say 2 episodes within 24 hours? You betcha, baby. Big Papa Bobby Hoops, episode 8, March 14th, 2023. And we are in full go mode. The content doesn't sleep, simply for you, the people. This is all NCAA tournament breakdown, baby. From picking teams to who's going to be the upset darling, the Cinderella, one might say. Who's the one player we're looking for? Who's just going to crumble? Doesn't stand a chance to make out of the first round. We break it down in today's episode. And once again, our good friends at Realty Executives have sponsored the pod. Just for you all, the people. Look, not going to bore you. It's the right thing to do. And work with Rob Logan and Austin White at Realty Executives for all of your buying and selling needs in 2023. Call them. Don't miss out. They will get you to the finish line and get you that dub that you deserve. All right, let's do it, baby. Let's ride up.
Uh-oh. We're back again.
It's dark outside.
Episode 8, little night session action. Hey,
little nightcap action.
Big Papa Bobby Hoops. This episode, as I kind of stated at the end of episode 7, we got a little cut off thanks to a little basic account action on Zoom. So
we got a little too into it.
Yeah. Real quick, we wanted to do a basketball 101 for those of you who have reached out to us asking us to do this. So here's our thoughts. I think Bobby Hoops would agree with this. Basketball, totally different than it was a decade ago.
Yeah.
It is what we would say is a positionless basketball formation, basically.
Yeah, traditionally you got your point guard, your shooting guard, your small forward, power forward, and center.
Yeah.
And that's how basketball was played for 50, 60, 70 years.
Yeah.
However long since the great Dr. Naismith created the game.
So, like, the easy answers, if you're like, okay, well, who would previous people be? So think of your, like, Shaquille O'Neal's. Let's think of your Kevin Garnett.
Shaq, true center.
True.
He's nothing else but a center.
You feed him the ball down low. He, at the furthest, is shooting a free throw. But granted, we know what Shaq does when he gets to the free throw line. Kevin Garnett, same idea. You give him the ball on the post or on the block. Maybe he can hit about a 15-footer off the wing. Let's move to small forward. You're thinking like a Vince Carter, a guy who primarily plays on the wing from the three-point line, but he can drive if you need him to. Every now and then he can hit a shot from the outside. Point guard, shooting guard, pretty interchangeable. So think of your like Allen Iverson's, a Kobe. He could be a shooting guard or
Wade, Michael Jordan.
Right. So those are like the very easy T-ball type answers of that's where we were. Now in 2023, positionless, I think we would both agree, quite frankly, doesn't matter if you have, say, a power forward. Okay, like let's take Triple J, for instance, at UT. I think he's a good example of he primarily could get at a 3 or a 4, but if you need him to, and he's kind of doing it right now, he can bring the ball up the court and basically act like as a point guard, which for some people would be like, why would you do that? Well, truth is,
because he can do it.
If you can do it, then like run it, which means you have a backup. It doesn't always have to be Zakai. You want Zakai in those people to be your primarily point guard ball handlers in that situation. But positionless basketball means you can move people over and they fit just fine. It might not be the primary, but they're okay. They can pick up where they left off.
Yeah, there's been a lot of like emphasis in, especially in like youth development in basketball these days, of you as much as possible to be a fully rounded player. I mean, they want guys who, I mean, the physical stuff is, there's only so much you can control there. But if you're a guy, especially if you're bigger and you can dribble, pass, shoot, post up, do all of the things, I mean, that's about as valuable a player as you can be. And then, like kind of like what you were saying, Big Papa, like, in the past, someone like Shaq or, like a player like that, they wouldn't be asked to, hand the ball and stuff like that. But nowadays, it's Brandon Miller is a great example. Probably going to be player of the year for Alabama. I mean, he's what, 6'8", 6'9"?
Yeah.
He's handling the ball at the top of the key about as much as anyone else on Bama, just because he can and he's dangerous and he can do it all. And the emphasis on kind of this newer age of basketball is, a couple guards maybe they can be interchangeable, and then just a bunch of lengthy forwards is kind of the emphasis. The center's kind of gone away, and it's guards and forwards or wings, as some people say too. That's where the emphasis is, and then to have all 5 guys on the court as much as possible that can do everything or a little bit of everything.
Yeah, spot on. So that, I would say, is kind of in a nutshell what basketball is now. For those of our boys and loyal listeners who were asking for that, I would say, if you need a prime example, look at Alabama. That's, we talked about Brandon Miller for a second. They're a prime example of where is college basketball moving to, because they're mirroring the NBA. Every now and then you might see like a Purdue or Kentucky who has a traditional center at like Zach Edey or Oscar. They don't light it up from 3. They are big, muscular guys that you feed the ball to down low. But in 2023, they need to be at a level of, they're going to get double teamed or so, and they need to be very efficient at passing. In the past, they could get double teamed, but they could handle it, and some still can handle a double team or two. But now, with defenses and different schemes and stuff, they've got to be able to react very quickly. So it's not early 2000s. It's not 1990.
So, and I would say, if we're going to keep using Alabama as the example of kind of how basketball has changed, as the emphasis has also gone towards like positionless basketball, there's been a lot of emphasis also towards a lot of advanced stats, and the advanced stats like to show that the most valuable and the most like efficient way to get points are shoot a lot of threes, get to the basket, get a lot of layups. And if you're not getting layups, hopefully you're getting fouled. So then you're shooting a lot of free throws. Yep. And so a team like Alabama and a lot of, I mean, they're one of many. Auburn does it. If we're just going to stick in the SEC, Auburn does it a lot too. I guess kind of Missouri. But they are teams where it's like 3 true outcomes for them, and that's it. That we're going to shoot a lot of threes, we're going to take a lot of layups and a lot of free throws, and not a lot of mid-range stuff, because the advanced stats show that that's a harder shot for 2 points. So if you're going to take a harder shot, then take another step out and shoot a 3.
Yep.
And so especially a lot of the teams that do this are usually coached by younger guys. Nate Oates is a younger coach. I would say Bruce Pearl kind of bucks that trend a little bit. He's been around a while, and he's kind of shifted his style to more of that. But, the Rick Barneses, the Calipari's, and, the kind of the more established older coaches who have been doing it for a while, that you don't see it as much. You're slowing the pace down. You have your offense that you run. For especially talking Tennessee, it's a lot of motion, get guys open to get, at least open jump shots from anywhere on the court. And the pace is slower, and a little more old school.
Yeah. They're definitely big on thinking we want to run the clock and get a very efficient shot while running the clock down, versus, hey, I don't care if it's been 4 or 5 seconds into the shot clock, like launch a 3 if you're wide open. You miss it and we don't get the rebound, so be it. You've only wasted 5 seconds. Like, we'll get the ball back. Don't worry. So
and then if our set doesn't work on offense, we'll fall back and try to play good defense. versus, some of the newer style is we just want to pour it on and score fast, score a lot, run a lot of fast breaks. If it means we turn the ball over a little more, or we give up fast breaks the other way and don't get back on defense as quickly, then so be it. We're gonna just try to outscore you, plain and simple.
Yep.
And that's kind of the other kind of give and take between the different kind of philosophies. And I think we're kind of talking about a little more of the extremes. A lot of these teams kind of, there's a little bit of both of the styles nowadays, but we're kind of, I think, mostly hitting on the extremes right now.
Yeah, because I think that's what our friends and other listeners are most likely going to see, unless you watch so much basketball that you do see teams who kind of float in the middle. So hopefully that makes sense. Obviously, if you have any more questions of basketball 101, I don't know what the heck's going on, send us a DM, send us a mailbag, video, text, whatever you want, baby. All right, next segment. Bobby Hoops and I, we're going to do a rapid fire through the regions of the NCAA tournament. And then once we're done with that, we will then give our opinions on Tennessee and Kentucky's path. And then if there's a game or two that we're most interested in outside of Tennessee, Kentucky, that, classic upsets. Yes.
Real quick. I think this is an important question because it's bracket time. People all over the country filling out brackets.
Yep.
You said we're going region by region. Are you, when you're filling out your bracket, I'm filling out one region and then I go to the next, or are you a round by round guy?
Oh no, I fill the whole baby out. Like
no. I know what you mean. I'm just saying, like, do you start off with, like, for instance, the South region? Are you taking whoever wins that all the way to the Final Four and then move down to the East region and then go through it?
I see what you're saying. Yes, we'll complete one region and then move to the next.
Okay, gotcha. I think some people do it the other way. We're gonna do it this way.
It's true.
There's not really a wrong way.
No, I'm good with either. But yeah, for the sake of this episode, we'll
start
region.
We'll start with the South.
All right, round of 64. We got Bama and whoever the 16 seed is after the playing game. Who you got?
Bama, easy.
Bama, me too.
I think we might be saying their name a lot.
Yeah, unfortunately. All right, Maryland, West Virginia. Does Bobby Terps come alive?
Terps, my home team. They've played really well at home this year. Stink on the road. This is a neutral site. I'm gonna give the edge to Maryland. Go Terps.
Ooh,
how about you?
I'm going West Virginia.
Okay, press Virginia.
I've got two apps running at the moment. As I say, I'm trying to do Bobby Hoops or are you keeping count on your end?
I've already filled out my bracket. I'm looking at it right now, so okay. I can send you a picture later.
I trust you, maybe. Next game, we've got San Diego State and Charleston. Who you got?
I was a little back and forth on this one. I leaned San Diego State.
I think, if I'm correct, I'm trying to get to my bracket. I believe I picked Charleston.
Great beaches in Charleston.
Gotta start finding some upsets. All right, sure. Virginia and Furman.
Well, here's my first upset. I got Furman.
Same, big dog. Let's
UVA. I think the glory days are behind them. I don't quite. Tony Bennett's a fantastic coach, but I'm going the hungry boys at Furman.
Samesies. I think that they're slow pace, that whole thing. Also, by the way, for those of you who are wondering on extremes of basketball style, watch Virginia. It is boring.
Slow. I mean, for as much as people talk about the way Tennessee plays defense, that conversation needs to be about Virginia, because nobody plays defense like Virginia.
Wolf. Creighton, NC State.
Creighton.
He's got Creighton. I got NC State. Baylor and California, Santa Barbara.
Baylor, easy. I think Baylor's going to make a good run.
Yep. Baylor. All right. Missouri and Utah State.
Missouri, dude. Easily. This is the new bit. Okay. I'm picking it, so it should happen, right?
I don't blame you. I'm picking Missouri.
Kobe Brown,
Ugh. Arizona, Princeton,
Arizona.
Arizona. All right, round of 32. Here we go. Bama and Maryland.
Bama.
Bama. Charleston and Furman. Is that who we picked, or who'd you have?
Well, I had San Diego State and Furman, and I have San Diego State over Furman in the round of 32.
I picked Furman to move on. Do we have NC State and Baylor both?
I have Creighton and Baylor in the round of 32, and I have Baylor over Creighton moving on to the Sweet 16.
I have NC State and Baylor. I'm picking, I believe I picked NC State. I think Baylor just.
Dang, Wolfpack making a little run for you.
Come on.
We'll see. We'll see.
Missouri and Arizona.
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 I can only take that bit so far. I think Arizona is really good. They played Tennessee really well this year, and I mean I think Arizona has a team that could. They're a championship caliber team this year. They just won the Pac-12. They're riding high right now.
Yep. Which means then we've got Bama, and you had.
I have San Diego State, but of course I have Bama winning. Bama's pretty much chalk for me in this bracket.
Same. Bama for me over Furman. Then we've got. I had NC State and Arizona. I've got Arizona.
And I have Baylor upsetting Arizona and going to the Elite Eight. I'm a big fan of what Baylor does. I think Scott Drew is a great coach. Obviously they won it a couple years ago. That Baylor Arizona game, if that's what ends up happening, I mean that could be a coin toss for me. But I lean Baylor. They play in the Big 12. It's probably the best conference for basketball right now. So I lean Baylor.
I like it. And then that means we've got our Elite Eight going to the Final Four game. I've got Bama, Arizona, and I've got Alabama.
And I have Alabama over Baylor going to the Final Four. It just sucks. I like it.
Like, why? Like, of all teams, Bama, you get football, whatever. All right.
It's just hard to pick when if they're truly playing at their best, which I just, at least in this region, I don't see anybody beating them.
Yeah. Hard to go against them. I bet the majority of brackets are going to have that. All right. Moving to the East region. Both
the big region.
And the Vols.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here we go. 1 seed Purdue versus whoever wins the playing game.
Purdue. Easy.
Purdue. This is a good one. Memphis.
This is going to be a
FAU.
good one. Yeah, Memphis and FAU. I mean, Memphis, who just won the Conference USA, right? That's what they play in.
Did they took out Houston in the championship?
Yeah. I have Memphis winning this one.
I personally have Memphis as well.
Not a fan of Memphis, but they're playing good ball right now.
They are. So. All right. I'm going to tell you right now, I think these next two, very dicey.
Yeah.
Here's the first one. Duke and Oral Roberts.
Yeah, I think already Oral Roberts is getting a lot of buzz as the darling, I don't even know what conference they're in. Obviously they're a mid-major, but Oral Roberts is almost always in this. I feel like Duke, first-year head coach, John Shire doing a good job. They won the ACC, and I'm picking Duke, baby.
Oh, come
the Blue
on.
Devils.
I'm going Oral Roberts. I think the train stops here. They're hot. I'm not going to lie. Duke is hot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm feeling it. Feeling dicey. Oral Roberts over
okay. Hey, I wouldn't hate it.
No, I think 99% of America.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it.
Next game, Tennessee and Louisiana.
I don't know if this is the tournament for the Vols, but they're not going to lose this game. I don't know how far they're going to go, but they're not going to lose this one. Tennessee, I think they're already favored by double digits over Louisiana. I don't know a lot about Louisiana, and I don't care to learn a lot about Louisiana because I'm not worried about it. The Vols are going to win.
Run them. Louisiana.
Horse.
When I saw the back to back, my immediate thought was it's either in my head, I'm like, it'll be phenomenal for a Tennessee Duke matchup because when else would they play each other? And I
Absolutely.
thought, or what if they both get upset?
If it's Oral Roberts versus Louisiana.
Yeah, and everybody from a TV standpoint, nope, not watching that game.
Well, that's the thing. Say what you will about Colin Cowherd for all these years. He's like, everybody loves a Cinderella until it's the Sweet 16 Elite 8 time. And it's like, okay, I want to see the Blue Bloods now, please.
Right, which, I understand, but okay.
I do, yeah.
Next one, the Cats in Providence. I'm going to be...
I love a good storyline matchup. I love it.
Bobby storylines.
I love a good storyline.
Who you got?
Bryce Hopkins, revenge game. Is it a revenge game if he left the team on his own accord? I don't know. I'm picking the Cats.
Same. Cats. Next one, Kansas State and Montana State.
Kansas State.
Michigan State and USC. That was a little tough.
This is going to be a tough one. It's March. I can't pick against Izzo. Michigan State.
You can't because I picked against them.
You're picking against it. Okay. All right.
A little Pac-12 after dark action. We'll see what happens. Okay. All right. Marquette and Vermont.
Marquette.
All right. Next round. Here we go. Purdue and Memphis. Do we both have that right? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm picking Memphis.
Ooh, I like it.
Upsetting the 1 seed. I think Purdue's good, but man, I just again they're one of those old school. They're going through their how tall is Zach Edey again? 7'5", 7'4". Player of the year, Zach Edey. I just think when Penny has his boys, humming, they're going to run fast break, and I think they're going to run Zach Edey up and down that court if the game goes their way. So I'm picking Memphis in the upset.
All right, then that means Purdue for me too. All right, for you, that would mean that is.
I've got Duke and Tennessee in the second round, and I'm guarding my heart. I'm picking the Duke Blue Devils to take down my Tennessee Vols and leave us sad going home in the second round.
I, as the numbnuts of the pod, decided Oral Roberts in Louisiana. Big Dog will then be picking Oral Roberts to take on Purdue. Next round, we've got
really that's not you are numbnuts, awesome. But that's not a big numbnuts pick. I
think very few people are going to be picking that outside of the homers of each of the respective teams.
Yeah.
Cats in Kansas State.
Good.
I'm picking the Cats in that one. I went back and forth a lot, but I think they get by. And then Cal is automatically out of the hot seat. Or pitchfork.
That's what it's going to take? Sweet 16.
I think so, minimum. Yeah. If anything less than that,
I would probably say the same for Tennessee. If Barnes got this team to the Sweet 16, I think, I still think there would be the people who were,
sure.
Oh no, they're Sweet 16. Can't get any further. But that's 2 wins and 1 maybe over Duke. So
yeah.
I would be okay with that. I don't think it's going to happen though.
Next round, I've got a USC Marquette matchup. You've got Michigan State Marquette.
Mm-hmm. And I have Marquette winning that one. I feel good about Marquette this year.
They're good. Yeah, got Marquette also. All right, that
Sweet
means
16.
16 on my end. I've got Purdue and Oral Roberts. I'm going Oral Roberts, baby. We are riding that train. We are riding that train.
Wow.
0
wow.
That's why I'm taking Oral Roberts.
The 12 seed making it to the Elite 8. Wow.
Why not?
I have the Evil Empire Duke beating Memphis And I believe that game is in Madison Square Garden. So that's a home game for Duke. All those New Yorkers for sure. So I have, John Shiner's first year taking Duke to the Elite Eight.
Oh, barf. That's like Bama. All right, and that would mean from my end, I've got the Cats and Marquette. Marquette. I think the Cats train stops right there.
I also have Marquette winning this one, but over Kansas State.
And then from my end, that means we have an Oral Roberts and Marquette matchup for the Final Four. I have Marquette.
Yeah, I have Marquette going to the Final Four too. I just think they're really impressive. I like the little note about them that they play super duper fast on defense, but slow it down they play super fast on offense and slow it down big time on defense. I think just think they're a really well-rounded team, and they've got the Big East Player of the Year, Tyler Kolek. They won the Big East. And again, that Elite Eight game would be in Madison Square Garden, where Marquette just won the the Big East in Madison Square Garden. So,
come on, baby.
Yeah.
All right, moving to the Midwest, we'll bust through it real quick. This one probably won't be too dicey. It's kind of plain. All right, first one: Houston and Northern Kentucky.
Houston,
Iowa and Auburn.
Ugh, I hate this game.
It's gonna be lame.
I'm picking Iowa, but I really don't. I can switch my pick right now. I don't really have strong feelings. I don't like either team.
Yeah, no, I don't either. That's a game you want to stay away from if you were in the betting arena. Yeah. I'm taking Auburn. Miami and Drake.
I picked Drake. I think their average, I think I saw that Drake's average, their starting lineup is at least all 23 years old. They have got a 23-year-old, a 24-year-old. I think they even have one or two 25-year-olds with all the COVID transfer rules and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Drake,
why not?
Got a bunch of old guys. Maybe that means something. So
just a bunch of old dudes trying to make a play.
Yep.
I took Miami. Didn't really see much of an upset there personally. All right. Yeah. However, on this one, Indiana and Kent State.
Kent State
talk nice to me, Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana. So lame.
It's been 23, 24 years since a Big Ten team's won it all, and it ain't going to be Indiana. So
making another year, baby.
Yeah.
Iowa State, and then a play-in. I don't know who the play-in game is, but
it would be Mississippi State or Pitt. And I'm thinking Mississippi State's going to do it. Our boy Tolu. Yep, I'm taking Mississippi State to upset Iowa State, and on the back of Tolu Smith. I like him.
I'm taking Iowa State purely based off of their nice little dub they had over Baylor in the conference tournament. So, all right, next game, Xavier and Kennesaw State. Kennesaw going to the tourney, I think, for the first time in school history.
I think so. And nice to thanks for coming. I'm picking Xavier.
Keep hanging out, Kennesaw. I like it. Let's stick around for a little while. Yeah. Texas A&M and Penn State. This could be good.
Giga Maggies.
Shout out
Penn State. Penn State rains three-pointers. They are one of the best three-point shooting teams in the tournament. But as we've said, at least as I've said a lot, I think A&M is, despite their SEC championship performance against Alabama, I think they're a team that's made for this tournament. And so I'm picking Texas A&M.
I'm raining threes, baby. Give me the lines. Give it to me.
All right. I think that'll be a really good game.
Circle this one. Texas and Colgate. We're telling you.
Circle this one.
This is the game. You heard it here first on the gold standard.
Erase that circle. Erase it. I disagree.
He's like, what? I'm taking Colgate over Texas. This is St. Peter's all over again. Texas will blow up.
Ugh.
Okay.
I'm picking Texas.
Ooh, boy, we got 10 minutes left. All right, we're going to bust through this real quick. Houston and Auburn from my end. I got Houston.
Houston.
All right. My end, Miami and Kent State got Miami.
I have Kent State over Drake.
I like it. I've got Iowa State, Kennesaw State. I'm taking Iowa State.
I'm taking Xavier over Mississippi State.
Looking at Penn State and Colgate, I'm riding with Colgate again, baby. Who you got?
Well, I have in what would be, I think, a very, I love me a storyline. I have Texas A&M over their hated rivals, Texas.
Ooh.
They talk about how much they hate Texas in their own fight song. So
you're willing to ride it.
Former rivals back together. Well, they're still rivals. Anyone who's from Texas will tell you they're still rivals. Texas A&M upsets Texas.
I love it. I got Houston and Miami playing each other and riding with Houston.
I got Houston over Kent State.
I got Iowa State and Colgate. Ride with Colgate, baby. I am sticking with it.
You are a numbnuts. 15. You're 15 in the Elite Eight.
St. Peter's, baby. Like, after last year, I'm like,
did they make it to the Elite Eight?
They did, because they beat Purdue also to make it in there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, no shot. I've got Texas A&M upsetting Xavier.
Wow. I have Houston and Colgate, but I will stick with Houston on that one.
I've got Houston over Texas A&M in the Elite Eight.
I like it. Okay, that means that leaves our last region in the West. Also kind of a plain Jane one. Kansas and Howard. I got Kansas.
Kansas.
Arkansas, Illinois. I actually think this will be a good game. I got Arkansas.
I got Arkansas too, but that could be 50-50 for me. I just think, again, Nick Smith is awesome.
St. Mary's and then VCU. I have VCU with a little upset.
I thought about VCU. I'm sticking with St. Mary's. I just think they're a really good program that gets overshadowed by Gonzaga a lot, but I like St. Mary's.
UConn and Iona. UConn taking on Rick Pitino. Sticking with UConn.
Oh, yeah, UConn. I really like UConn this year.
TCU and a play-in. Who's the play-in? That's an 11 seed.
Arizona State or Nevada.
I took TCU.
I took TCU as well.
Gonzaga and old Grand Canyon. Gonzaga. Northwestern and Boise State. I forgot Boise State.
Yeah, Northwestern, great story this year to get the 2 seed in the Big Ten tournament, but Boise State.
UCLA and Asheville.
UCLA.
All right, mine. Kansas and Arkansas. I've got Kansas.
But Kansas, I think Arkansas could give them a game, but Kansas might be the best team in this.
Got my end VCU and UConn. I'm taking VCU in an upset.
Okay, I've got UConn over St. Mary's.
I like it. TCU and Gonzaga. I think we both got the same. I've got Gonzaga.
Yeah, Gonzaga.
And then I'm looking at Boise State and UCLA. I'm taking UCLA.
Yep, UCLA. Same here.
All right, next round, Kansas and VCU. From my end, I've got Kansas.
I have UConn upsetting Kansas in the Sweet 16. I think UConn, I really like them this year. I think Dan Hurley, former Duke guy. Maybe I'm a Duke guy. I'm picking all the Duke people right now.
You going on official airwaves and saying Bobby Hoops is a Duke guy?
I respect greatness.
You've been through a lot this year. That would make sense why you.
Yeah. Yeah. I like UConn. I think if anyone can upset Kansas in this one, it's UConn.
Gonzaga, UCLA for me on this end. I've got UCLA.
I have UCLA too. I think Gonzaga's a little down this year, but UCLA did lose what's his name, Jalen Clark. Who, I mean, if they had Jalen Clark, I think UCLA could have won it all. I think they still maybe can, but I still think they have enough to beat Gonzaga, so I'm picking UCLA.
Then I'm looking at Kansas and UCLA, and I've got Kansas going to the Final Four.
I have UConn over UCLA in the Elite Eight.
Wow. All right, Final Four. My end, I'm looking at Bama and Marquette with Houston and Kansas playing each other. I have Bama and Kansas both winning those games, going to the championship with Bama taking it.
I have Bama over Marquette in the first round of the Final Four, and I have Houston beating UConn.
Wow.
And then I have your Houston Cougars, national champions, over
the hometown.
Alabama. Yep, the hometown team winning it in Houston. Go Cougars.
I love it. And there you go. That's the Big Papa Bobby Hoops sound off on the NCAA tournament bracket. We did have one mailbag submission from our boy T. Cox, which there's actually like 3 questions in one. I think we kind of answered all of them. He said, who wins it? Who's the worst rated Cinderella story? I want one player who shocks the world. Well, as of jokingly said, the numbnuts of the podcast, I went with the Cinderella story being Colgate. Like, why not?
I'll give you a reason why not, because they're Colgate. The Cinderella I like the most. I mean, I guess my lowest seed that I have going the furthest is, I guess, Texas A&M, 7 seed. I just love, and there's probably SEC biased in that, but I love what they do. I love Dexter Dennis, and he's a 6th-year senior, and they just play such great defense, and make a lot of free throws and get a lot of rebounds, which is the formula usually. So I like them a lot. And what was the other part of his question?
He said, who's the worst, which I went back and forth between Duke and Mizzou.
Oh, who's the worst? Oh, man.
Guess I might have to ride with Duke because I gave Mizzou a pass on the first round.
I mean, it's hard not to think the worst is Bama. They get to have everything in football for like a decade and a half, and now they get a potential national champion basketball team. No, I hate it.
Who's the one player that shocks the world?
One player.
Whoever's the number one scorer for Colgate.
Who do I think? Give me a second. We've got a couple minutes. I mean, if I'm not quite picking it this way, but I think especially if they could pull off the second round upset, Nick Smith Jr. for Arkansas, I think he could make a lot of money for himself.
Yep.
If he has he's already going to be a first round pick, but
for sure.
And he's already in the lottery projections for the NBA, but I think Nick Smith Jr. If Arkansas can go on a little run, he's a great player. And maybe if I'm going to try to find someone not in the SEC, I think I would probably go with what's his name? Tyler Kolek from Marquette. I just really like Marquette. They're a fun program, and I think it would be cool to see the Big East get to the Final Four. So that'd be another name. Huh?
Tucker Richardson for Colgate. That's who you need to look out for.
With the Colgate, man.
Toothpaste, come on. Hey, 15 seconds. Tell me why Tennessee's going to do what they do as far as they make it.
I mean, if Tennessee is going to go as far as Josiah Jordan-James and Julian Phillips, if they play aggressive, if they get to the basket, make free throws, just be more assertive, then I think Tennessee can beat anybody. But they've not shown that they do that very much. So how about Kentucky?
If Cason Wallace doesn't have a back spasm, knee injury, get tackled, throw up, whatever, they ride. And Jacob Toppin will help also. He's got to average 15 to 20 points a game. My boy Big Tone's got to be a threat from the 3-ball line. He can't go 4 of 17. If Cason gets hurt in the first game, they're done. It doesn't matter. They'll lose again in the first round and get the pitchforks out. We're going shirtless up to Lexington, and we're going to get all fired up. So, hey, We love you all. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Let's have an awesome week in the first round, second round of the NCAA tournament. I'm Big Papa. That's Bobby Hoops.
This is Mark.